to take a minute here to get connected on my YouTube channel as well. So it says I'm live. Great, because I wanted to make sure I didn't have to do this twice. Okay. So I want to say hello. I know no one's here, but because I had a little bit of time today, I wanted to go ahead and share this. I was going to do the audio recording about this message, but as I was meditating today and thinking about, the shape, we know what our nation is in. But when I think about these children, that's one of my pet peeves. For those who don't know me, I've got five granddaughters and I have four great grandsons. And one of the things that I really, really like doing, and that is sowing seeds to hopefully to be able to touch a life as I'm going along this journey, to be able to leave an impact in some way more than just praying about the matter. Okay, I believe that we should be active. I mean, many of us are wise grandmothers and wise leaders, and many of us just got a whole lot of head knowledge and not taking any of that knowledge and supernaturally allowing God to, move through us so that we can do more than pray about the matter. We need to become very socially active about it. And first place to be active about it is in our own house. And so I wanted to kind of share a little bit here about this topic because my water situated here, because my heart, I think, in wanting to go ahead and do this live is to be able to talk to you face to face concerning what I've endured over the years as a counselor and a therapist, and then watching others as they destroy themselves, and none of us are 100. I've been there and done that too, and wanted to make sure that I kind of talk candidly about my own life and then share with you, hopefully, that you can see some areas that you need to look at that you could do within your own church or your own community, or within your own ministry. I really think it's time for us to come up a little higher as leaders and talk about matters that do matter, because we're doing a whole bunch of preaching to the choir in the four walls, and we've got to do something for these children. We got to do something for these hurting marriages and families that are going through. And so I really, really believe in social action. I believe that in this time what we are watching, and as I watch it, I want to bring forth whatever Abba gives me to talk about. And so I want to talk about what you see here in my topic, the let's take action in regards to these teens and this flavored smoke. I know you all know the titles that they give them. I'm gonna read a couple of things here that I typed up before I got on here to share with you, because this is such an intense message. I just wanted to kind of, pull your coat. Some of you already know. Some of you may be even doing it. Some of us have gotten to the point that we will get right along with the kids and do these things. So I never forget, I was in a meeting and I wanted to share this part so you will know it's not something that I'm trying to say, oh, everybody is this and everybody is that. Hi there, Miranda. It's just that I wanted to share about my experience as far as smoking marijuana is concerned, as far as where I was when it was what I call self-medicating my pain and or self-medicating my stress. And I want to get on that a whole nother topic when I talk about some common brain killers, okay? Because a whole bunch of us don't realize that we have really depleted our brain cells behind a whole bunch of things that we are doing that we think that we just chilling. And that's why our brain cells are on chill right now. We can't think straight and we can't remember nothing. Okay? So I decided to get on here and share with you what I do remember in regards to smoking all kinds of things now, that they're giving new names. So there's nothing new under the sun, as Solomon talks about. We need to make sure that we understand that because nothing is new under the sun, that means now our children are finding new ways to get high, new ways to figure out how they can make things calm down in their mindsets of what they're going through. Same thing with adults. Many are dealing with troubled marriages. Many of them are dealing with issues on their jobs. Many are dealing with a whole bunch of things, feeling neglected, feeling betrayed, feeling rejected, feeling that you don't love me anymore, you love this child better than me, and so on. I just want to kind of talk about on a real level with you about my own experience, And as I was going through, I remember back in the day, because after I got shot, all I wanted to do, I wanted to just try to self-medicate by smoking marijuana. I felt my friend had turned me on to it. She said, all you have to do is just take just a long draw on it like a cigarette. Because at that time, I was smoking cigarettes, so I understood what she meant about taking a long draw off of it and just hold it in, okay? What did she do that for? We were driving at the time. At least I was driving. We was riding. And when I did that, all I remember we was coming over Ship Channel Bridge. And I told her, I just stopped in the middle of the freeway. And I said, we can't go any further because there's a big elephant ahead. And I'm afraid I can't go any further. But actually what it was nothing but the high, the leaps and the bounds of the freeway. But I was hallucinating that it was a big elephant in the freeway. But I was going on to say, as we go through these types of tests or these types of challenges in our lives, some people would try anything to quiet that voice down in their head, to quiet down the storm of what people are saying or doing in their lives, to quiet down the thing that make them hurt or be reminded of a situation, that they're trying to deal with. But I want to share about what I know, that these jewels, that these flavored smokes is what they call them, are doing to our children. I was in a meeting a while back and wasn't even here in the city. It was somewhere, but I remember this guy sitting there. We were just in a casual conversation. And he kept pulling out this little instrument, because back then I didn't know what it was. He kept pulling out this little instrument and then just draw off of it. A bunch of smoke would come up, but I didn't smell nothing. I was looking like, what is that? Within my mind, I said to myself, he just draw it off of it, put it back in his pocket. And I said, that's like a pipe. I wonder is he doing crack right here in front of us? I'm green, I don't know. But making a long story short, I was just floored when I did get to understand what this was. So back then, they just called it smoke, or whatever. But now they got a name for it because they made this trend where they use these devices that they call jewels. Some of them look like little sticks that you use in your computer, or they look like all types of little jars. And somebody say they even look like little credit cards even today. They come in all kind of fashions. Now, after this particular talk that I'm having with you, I'm going to connect a video on here. Let's just use this as my mental health day, okay? Because I'm going to try to do one every week. I'm going to try. This is on my schedule. But I figured I want to do it now because I'm getting ready to go through some procedures that I want to make sure that I kill some more devils before I go through this procedure, and I won't be able to get on here and talk. Yeah, talk. So I can let the devil know I'm taking every fiber of my being and every breath I got to try to see if I can reach one, okay? And so what I wanted to share was, I believe that because they come in all types of ways and facets for us to not know what it is that our kids are getting their hands on or what it is that they're smoking that they say is harmless. But I want to give you a particular situation, what happened to me. I remember that I had smoked so much weed in my day. They call it marijuana, whatever, Mary Jane, or whatever y'all want to call it. Got all these new names for it now, medication for cancer and pain or whatever that's being approved in different states. But what I wanted to share was what is going on concerning our brain cells that I'll talk about a little bit later on in regards to these commonalities that we overlook, these common behaviors that we overlook that really are destroying our brain cells. And we just overlook it because it feels good or it makes us chill. This is what's happening to our kids in what is called jewels. Now, that video that I'm going to leave after I do this recording, I want you to listen to it carefully about this interview, but I think that you need to really pay attention to, especially your parents and grandparents, and even those that are being challenged to feel that there's no harm done in doing this smoke that's flavored in this smoke. But he was sitting there smoking and doing that, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he just like some people have this cigar or whatever, and they just, maybe he's trying to quit smoking. And I thought it was one of those kind of devices that you just blow this fake smoke off of. But as I flash back on it now, I know now what it was. It was this type of smoke that is now in this generation. Now, back then, it was like around in the 2005, 6, somewhere around there, 7, because this is really actually when these jewels came out, that is, this flavor smoke came out, that they gave the flavor a few years ago. But now they have all these devices that parents don't realize these kids are using right in our faces. You know, that they're saying they ain't nothing but a little toy or whatever, and they're smoking these through these jewels this type of chemical that's really destroying their brain cells. And this is what I want you to know. Did you know that as far as chemically in this particular smoke that they're saying is just flavored, that is roughly 7,000 toxic chemicals in every drag off of that jewel thing, or that flavored smoke cig that they call it, the e-cig. What they don't understand is that the nicotine is what destroys the lung and make it black. I thank God he delivered me from cigarettes and marijuana. I remember that when I used to smoke like a pack and a half till I got up to 2 packs a day. Cigarettes, I smoked like a train. I had a cigarette, and I mean, I'm preaching now. I know I'm talking some preaching. And I'm preaching now with a cigarette behind the scenes that nobody knew about unless they was with me or close to me. Because I'm smoking, got the house smoked up at home, car smoked up. You know, I want you to know that we're in an hour right now that this nicotine has been so intensified with different chemicals that we don't even know what in it. All we know is it's calming us down. Okay? But I'm trying to tell you that the nicotine that's in this smoke, think about the cigarettes, 7,000 toxic chemicals that is in every drag. That means over 7,000 toxic chemicals going inside the lungs and attacking the brain cells. Lord, help us all today. And so when they drag off of this stuff, what happens is that we need to be socially active is to pay attention to the fact that a lot of these kids don't even realize that this is double one cigarette, double, that they're being attacked by through these jewels and these flavored e-cigarettes, whatever you want to call it, a jewel flavor. They all is what I just simply call hell-bound smoke. You better hear me. First to yourself, okay? And then the second part of this is that people don't understand that this same type of smoke also is very, very detrimental secondhand. We have a lot of women say, well, I'm going to quit smoking cigarettes, and they resulted to this jewel of flavored smoke, e-cigarette stuff. And now they are sending these same toxic chemicals in the room where their kids are. They think it's no big deal because they say it's not cigarette smoke. But these kids are inhaling this stuff. These kids are having asthma attacks. These kids are having bronchial infections. These kids are even getting pneumonia because, they don't understand what's really, really going on, nor what's inside these cigarettes. So let me share these e-cigs in this vaping. So which one is worse than Dr. Murphy? Marijuana, is that okay then? What about me just smoking a cigarette if I don't do the flavors? No, all of it is hellbound. All of it is toxic to your body, to your mind, to your soul, to your spirit. I'm going to keep saying over and over again, we can get a whole lot of head knowledge. But wisdom is power. And that means you can't just have knowledge and wisdom and you ain't doing nothing with it. Lord, help today. And so I'm on here to let you hear me out. My brain cells were so depleted that I had to start trying to do something nutritious and exercise my brain and let my brain rest because of the cells that had been depleted. Of course, they regenerate. But what about if I hadn't understood what was going on? That's why we got a lot of kids who cannot comprehend, cannot study, even adults who can't comprehend, can't even understand. If you say, I'm going to the store, when I come back, I'm going to pick up Jane, and then we're going to go ahead on and help her with her reading. The last thing you said, they might remember. Lord, help with the reading is all they can remember. They can't remember the rest because the brain cells cannot keep up with Sunday. This repetition of this continuous type of multitasking type of thoughts that they have to cluster together to try to comprehend what you're saying. Because your brain is just too weak. Lord help us all. The brain cells just been depleted. Don't want to preach. And so this second hand does the same thing. This secondhand marijuana, this secondhand jewel or flavored e-cigarettes is doing the same thing to your children. And so how can we become active? Well, first of all, you'll hear on the video, like with my kids when I was coming up, they don't pay no rent. And if they did, it was in my house, in my domain, in my camp, I'm coming in. You're not going to do what you want to do in my house if I even suspect anything. So I'm going to be going doing my checks. And they're going to know I'm going to check. I don't care. I'm going to tear it apart until I find where you might be hiding it at. While you're at school, whatever it takes for me to get to find out what my son or my daughter might be doing to destroy their lives. Not on my watch. And a whole bunch of you, the kids are destroying their lives on your watch. While you watching saying, it ain't nothing but a little puff girl. Thank God they ain't got no cigarettes. Thank God they ain't got no marijuana. No, you might as well just let them go and smoke marijuana. Let them go and smoke anything else they want to smoke. And chew. Right in your house. Right in your face. Because you're not being active about what you know. And so those that listen to me now, you not only are watching me, but you held accountable for what Abba has told me to warn you about. What you need to be taking a social active about, not just in your own house. What about your nieces and your nephews? You should be able to talk to them and share with them by doing your own research, by doing your own checks about things that you know that is not good and detrimental to their lungs, detrimental to their heart, detrimental to their, to their body and their mind, their soul, and their spirit. And so these, as I said before, they can become very toxic. And the reason why I'm talking about the teens today is because do you know that their brains are still developing all the way up to age 20? Okay? Because I don't know what age I was when I started smoking marijuana. I think maybe I started everything late. I started driving even late. I guess that's why my kids say, Mom, you cannot drive. But everything late, okay? Smoking late, all these things late. Understanding what marijuana is late, all this stuff late. But guess what? I ain't late now, devils. Devil, I'm up and I'm alive, I'm well, and I'm watching. I'm on my post. I am my family's gatekeeper. I'm watching you, devil. And that's what you should be doing. I want you to know that these kids, before they turn 20 years old, all the way up either to age 20, and because some kids may have developmental, times that are slow or whatever, just think about that they may be still inhaling this stuff, and all the time that you thinking all this time because they're nothing but just flavored fumes. These kids are inhaling this stuff. All the way up to age 20, their brain is being developed and their brain cells are being destroyed. Lord help us all. Can you imagine that? That your newborn baby or your grandbaby, whether it's a cigarette or e-cigarette, jewel using the flavor smoke, whatever, they are in the room. This stuff is going into their little lungs. Just think about it. In their eyes and everything else. And you thinking, oh, it ain't nothing. And you wonder why they got reading problems, behavioral problems, and so on. And so, parents, you need to know, you need to act, you need to understand that this particular trend is becoming so adaptive. People are just adapting to it and getting along with it because they say as long as it's not drugs, I'd rather them do this than to take pills or whatever. Oh, Lord, my napkin got all in my mouth. Pills or whatever. We need to know that it's a lot more serious than that. Okay? We're in an hour right now that is very enticing. It's very appealing. It looks like they're smart. It looks like they're cool. And we have to say, girl, bring that thing here. What is that? Let me look at that. What is this? What you say? Oh, no. I will immediately either take something and destroy it or put it somewhere in some dumpster where they cannot get to it. Because they'll go to trash looking for it today if you leave it in the house. You need to understand that we cannot allow these things to destroy our kids' minds and our body and their bodies. And so here's what's in this particular part. I don't think I got the part of the other part that's in here, but it's something that's called acrolein, acrolein. And acrolein is a chemical used to kind of, I guess, to create or put things together. Do you know they use that to even spray on vegetables and things like that to keep bugs off of them, when actually it also, they say it decreases your breathing rate. It also it irritates the lungs acutely, and it causes a person not to be able to breathe accurately the way they should. The breathing, I guess, palpitations and stuff, and times that your breathing cycles that are coming in and out of your lung is being interrupted because of this. This is called acrolein. Now, this acrolein is spelled Acrolein. Look it up and think about what's going in your lungs, even with the nicotine. So the nicotine, this acrolein, and worst of all, is the formaldehyde. Now, back in my day, we called it AMP, where you would put formaldehyde on marijuana so you get a higher height. And to me, you really was putting yourself in a dead zone, because that's really what formaldehyde does. Supposed to preserve something that is dead, or to sanctify or purify something so it'll stay clean or whatever. But look that up if you want to. But formaldehyde, can you imagine that? We used to put formaldehyde in fingernail polish so your nails can get long. And the reason why the nails got long is supposed to be preserving the nails to be able to still stay. Now they're growing out, your nails has been put in a dead state. Same thing. You're inhaling the formaldehyde, this acrolein, into your lungs. The nicotine and all that combined together is destroying the lining of your lungs. Okay? Now think about that. If it's destroying the lining of your lungs, can you imagine what it's doing to your brain cells? Oh, here today, all for impression, all for the sake of say that you are involved, all for those kids to say that my mama don't say nothing about me smoking this, because they know it's nothing but smoke, because they know that'll keep me from smoking cigarettes. Really? You need to make sure you do your very best to assess your house, assess your child's room, have the conversation, sit down and talk to your grandkids and your kids about how serious this formaldehyde and this what it's called, the acrolein that goes in the lungs, the nicotine. It's real. They keep saying, the researchers are saying that it's not addictive, but anything that is chemically based, anything, even like nicotine, it's been proven that it's destroying the lungs and causing cancer and so many other things in our bodies, because we want to put things in that are not healthy, that are not natural for the human body to consume, and we thinking that it's going to be okay. Just imagine if we're doing it, it's not okay, what it's doing to our children. So I want to talk to you right now about that. You become socially active in your house, for you to talk to your teens, sit down and have a talk with them, to ask them, do they have friends, so they can talk to their friends, so they can stop doing it. Because a lot of these kids' brains are fried. We got kids who are very, very smart. These chemicals are doing everything to them to the point of making them feel that it ain't enough, so they go to the next highest thing, crack or whatever, to make them feel that they can push down the pain while they're surviving the thing that's really a reality. And so it's up to us to make sure that we sit them down and talk to them and listen to their pain, so they can stop trying to self-medicate their pain. Well, that's all I got. I pray that you listen to that video that I got connected here in regards to this message today. And also, I pray that you will stay tuned for my part 2 videos that I'll be sending out on my series that I'm talking about signs of highly sensitive, hyper focused, and highly sensitive people, these type of relationships. Okay, so I'll be sending that back out probably this weekend. Watch for part 2. If you didn't get part 1, go and look somewhere on this website, because I'm still talking about issues that deal with family, friends who have been challenged in their mind. God bless you so much. Please share this video. I love you for watching. I challenge you to do your evangelical work today and share this video. It is shareable now. I made it very possible that you get to share it. Let me get out here so I can take care of the part over here on my YouTube too. Talk to you soon. God bless you. Get active.